Take three. This is this is Susan Strong, and we're doing something we haven't done before. This is a virtual presentation. I know people do them all the time, but for me, it's a little bit new. So I'm imagining you out there. I'm imagining people from all walks of life, both genders, all ages. And I've actually shared this idea with people of every description. And that's one thing I really love about what we're going to tell you about, and that's that it's totally egalitarian. It's I'm getting a quizzical look here from my virtual audience, which means to a child of the 60s, it's a club that anyone can join and succeed in. So that's what I love about it. So to begin, I think I'll just give you a little idea of my story. My story was that 20 plus years ago, I was a mom, sole support of two little kids, working in a job that sounded very impressive, admissions director of a private school. But although it cost a lot to go to that school, it paid like an independent school, and it seemed like we were always struggling. And since I had waited until nearly 40 to have my two beautiful children, I felt like, gosh, I waited this long and now I'm missing it. I'm going to work, dropping them off, going to work, and coming back after they're nearly in bed, just in time to tell the stories. And how life is. It started to feel like it was going fast and I was missing all the important parts. So it was about then that I got a call from a very good friend who said, how'd you like to retire in 5 years? Now, I don't really recommend or have I ever approached someone that way, but for me, it was the right way. And the amazing thing is that thanks to an amazing team, I was able to come home in 2 years, and that was over 20 years ago. So I was able to usher those children through their childhood, as well as help a lot of other people make changes that to them equaled a better life. And I think one of the things to always remember is that humans are unique among all the species in being able to decide that tomorrow can be different than today, that you can change your circumstances. You can get on top of them instead of always being under them. So because of some amazing people in my life, like Brad and Valerie Hardesty, like Suzanne Olson now, new last name, like Jeff and Susan Bookstaff, and Dan and Deborah Masick, and Michael and Lori Jacobitz, and Bruce and Louisa Bond. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody, but I have such gratitude for the team of people who said, let's help this person get home with her kids. Let's help her have more peace of mind around money. Maybe a debt-free breath. I mean, that was a sweet moment. And that same asset-based income has taken me to the present and paid the mortgage and put those two tiny little kids at the time through very expensive colleges with very little debt at the other end. So I really feel like it's my mission to share this with people who might be at that place in their life that something's got to change, something's got to change. So if you're someone where something's got to change, and a team would make it so much better, someone to follow in their steps, to have a clear path to a different future, then this is something you should think about. So I really want everybody who's listening to think, what is it? What is the primary thing that if you could change that, life would just be a lot more carefree for you. You'd be able to have a little fun. You'd be able to call your own shots. You'd be able to make some memories, have some adventures, maybe make a difference in someone else's life. If those things resonate for you, then give this due diligence. I'm going to give you a basic overview of what we do. It's an amazing idea. Very simple. I won't say easy because I think we're so programmed to go a certain way in our lives towards a transactional income, I'll be explaining that it sometimes is hard for people to hold on to this because the current out there in the popular culture takes you in a different way. So let's talk about the road less traveled. Here we go. All right, so some of you have heard about Robert Kiyosaki, best-selling author. I think he's the only author that's had 5 or 6 best-selling books in a row in the area of finance. But the reason is that he makes it understandable, even for me, and I'm not a numbers person. I think most people feel that way. So he's been on a speaking tour with Donald Trump, and he's just very present out there in the world of helping people understand how to get out from under and stay out from under. So the cash flow quadrant, his second book, was a real aha moment for me because he talked about the 4 ways money can come into your household. The first one is obvious, employee. Then there's self-employed. Those are usually the people that say, I want to be my own boss, but then they did some kind of self-employment where they just had many, many bosses and they were the last one paid and the last one to go home and ended up going back to employee. That's a very common thing. Over here we have business owner, but we're not talking about self-employed. We're talking about a business that has some system of duplication or leverage so that the person who started it can eventually walk away for a month, 2 months. Somebody else is managing it, or it's an asset that keeps coming in once they've developed it. So we're going to put system here. There has to be a system to make that go. And down here is investor. Very nice if you have the millions to throw in at the outset. So the aha moment for me was this, that 95% of us are over here. And we have captured exactly 5% of the wealth in this country. So it's like, as I always say, 95 people lining up for 5 cookies, and that's how it feels. This is also the side that holds up the whole tax structure. And that's definitely something we feel on the left side of the quadrant. So these are transactional incomes. And what that means is you put in time and you get money back. And if you don't put in time, pretty soon you don't get money back. So it's been described as a treadmill because you better stay on that thing or that wheel will stop turning and, you know, the rent won't get paid. So if you want to, in this system, if you want to live indoors, you have to keep showing up for the job. Okay, on this side, obviously there's 5% of the people, and these aren't, by and large, not people who inherited. These are people who built wealth themselves. So here's kind of try to stay ahead of debt, manage your debt. Over here is wealth building, okay? So 95% of the wealth is over here, right? So why do we keep lining up over here? Why do we keep lining up over on here where there's only 5 cookies? You know, why do we do that? Well, I think the answer is 2-part. It's fear and it's programming, because we are 95% of what we know, we learned from other 95%ers. All our teachers had jobs. You know, our parents most likely had jobs. If they didn't, you often see that the children say, no, I'm gonna go out and do my own thing. They're entrepreneurs to start with. What is happening now is interesting, is that more and more people are becoming entrepreneurs because the job has declined in quality. When I was growing up, people could actually work at the same job for 35, 40 years and have a nice pension in retirement. That pretty much no longer exists. There's a very small population of people who can accept that. Now the norm is to change jobs 4 to 10 or more times, barely keep pace with inflation, and then at 65 or 70, have it drop by 2/3 and try to make it on that. So we're seeing a crisis in those areas too. So people are waking up and saying, maybe the other side of the quadrant where all the money is, where I can get paid what I deserve, not what somebody else wants to pay me, but what I'm worth, what I can put in the world, have some worth, and take charge of it myself. So transactional income, time independent income. That's a whole message here, is you want income that is not tied to your time eventually. You build it, you build the asset, and then you enjoy the rewards. You build the asset down here or have help with investment companies, and you live on that asset and make change. And, you know, I love the power to make a difference in other people's lives on this side of the quadrant. On here, people are mostly in survival mode, and they really don't feel a lot of room to help other people normally. It's limited. Over here, tax-wise, you kind of have to, but also a lot of people really have that freedom to give some away, to make a difference on the planet. So that's that side. I think that's good for the cash flow quadrant. So what we do in our business is we help people move over there. We help them move over there. So one way that we can help them move over there is we can reduce the fear of capital investment, because there is a very small capital investment to what we do. I always say you'd spend more money going out to the Giants game and out to dinner than launching this kind of systemized business. So we remove the fear of the capital investment, and then we help people change the thinking that keeps them stuck over here. Einstein said, you can't solve the significant problems in your life at the same level of thinking at which you created them. What that means is change your thinking and change your circumstances. So over here, part of our system is an educational system where you learn to think like an entrepreneur rather than an employee or a self-employed person, where you start to think about the possibilities, where you use that gift that humans have of imagination. Where could I be? I'll set a goal, I'll gather my team, and we'll set off in that direction. So that's Kiyosaki's gift to us, is he really defined for us what's the difference. What are we trying to do? We're trying to move over where the money is so that we can call our own shots, have some adventures, and make a difference. Okay, now what do we have for support? How are we supported in this? I mentioned my team, and the name of our team is Team Builders. And over here we have our corporate entity, which is wave 3 of the old Amway Corporation, around for, I think, over 55 years now. True, back in the day, 55 years ago, there was some great actually the first environmental award was given to the Amway Corporation, but it was basically neighbors selling to neighbors, good cleaning, good clean cleaning, good green clean cleaning agents. But it's progressed a bit. It's now a $12 billion business in over 100 countries. And actually has been #1 in health and beauty in internet sales around the world for 8 or 9 years running now. And during that very scary recession, which we're still kind of wading out of, it was growing by $1 billion a year. And that was not the norm for most companies, large or small, during that time. So very solid, privately owned, no debt, no Dun & Bradstreet rating, just a very solid company, now affiliated with, I believe, is it over 40 or over 50? They keep coming on at such a rate. I think in the last year, there have been maybe 15 or more major companies. So let me name a few. Office Depot, Best Buy. I'm being signaled, but I can't see what it's showing. Why don't you tell me what you're showing me? 75 partner stores, 75. So which include, I'll throw a few names that I can think of. So Office Depot, Home Depot, Target, Apple, Starbucks, what else? Best Buy. Did I say Home Depot? Under Armour. There's so many. I can't even think of them all, but you get the idea. They're piling on at a great rate. Why are they? Why are they joining the Amway Corporation here in wave 4 that is just accelerating at such a great rate? They're signing on because they saw, let's say Best Buy was one of the first to get on, and they were in trouble. And there was this big in their bottom line because of their association with the Amway Corporation. Well, that's all those other companies. They have people watching things like that. And they said, how did they do that? And they found out, and that's why we're seeing this it's like their Amway Corporation is being rushed, by large companies that understand that if you want to transition to the internet, find yourself a loyal community. It's hard to find a loyal community on the internet. So how do we do it? We do it with cash, because as we help those companies transition to the internet, they're very happy to say, thank you very much. Here's a thank you check. We didn't have to advertise for that. We didn't have to pay employees. We didn't have to, all we had to do was ship it to you. And so they cut us in on the profits. So basically, that's the new Amway Corporation. So that's where all the bonuses come from. They open the new countries for us. They sign the new partners stores. They have fabulous yearly trips for achievers that we've enjoyed many times. It's a great corporation. And over here, we have the educational system, which is audios, a book of the month, monthly seminars, 3 larger conferences every year that are just so much fun. And so that's our support system. So if you're here in the middle, and this was me, we'll just put a smile there, you're well supported. So you're an independent business owner with the privilege of using this clearinghouse for all those products and a team behind you to help you every step of the way. And when I say help you, I mean like you taught your child how to ride a bike, you held the back of it until they had their balance, right? Yeah, picked them up if they fell down anyway. We're talking of that kind of help. We're talking about somebody who is in the driver's seat for a while and you're in the passenger seat for as long as it takes you to say, I'm not waiting for your schedule anymore. I know what to do and I'm going to go after it. So what does this look like? Basically, I call it the 4 R's. One is register as an independent business owner. The next one is redirect your own shopping. So now you're going to shop from yourself. You're going to go online and go wherever you need to go to get the stuff you were already buying anyway. You're going to have it shipped to your house. You're going to have a small amount, very small amount of required sales, which frankly, I do with friends and family. Why should they support the Walton kids? They're doing fine. Support me. I can give them a good deal. So between those two things, and when you're doing you've registered and you're redirecting your shopping and doing a little bit of recommending of products, that's recommend here. This is redirect. This is register. They're all RE. Isn't that interesting? Even this one. When you're doing that, basically you're seeing a check of $64 plus retail profits. No big deal, right? But I always say, if I found $60 in my jeans pocket and didn't know it was there, I'd be happy. It's a dinner out. It's not bad. But do you know someone who's feeling a little stuck? Do you know someone that something has to change in their life? Do you know someone who maybe is not seeing their kids enough or their spouse enough, or has always wanted to travel the world, or wants to follow a gift like writing or piano or any reason, or has a cause that they really want to support? Do you know somebody like that? Or just somebody that doesn't want to wake up and see that boss for another year, right? Or somebody piled with debt. Sometimes we see people that have been seriously hurt and disabled who now have a way that they can make a difference in their lives and other people's lives. That happens as well. So 3 people, let's say, to start. There's no limit, but let's say 3 people like that. When they register, now you've referred, that's the 4th R. When they register and redirect their shopping and recommend a few products, then you're going to get a bigger thank you check. Basically, you go up on this thank you check scale to a different percentage because you've brought business. It's a thank you check. Again, money flowing down from major corporations, not up from the people. They're just getting the stuff they always bought and doing a little bit of sales. So they're going to have their $65+ and they're happy about that. But now you're going to be making about $450. Now that is significant, not just because it buys a lot more than dinner, but because it's an asset, because they're going to brush their teeth, feed the dog, diaper the baby, wash their hair and their clothes, and get all the school supplies at Office Depot. Next month too, they're going to keep getting the things they need from their own business. So this becomes an asset. It's not something like in a job where you're at 0 on the first day of the month again. You build upon this. This is an asset now. So think about your household and what an additional $450 on the money that you're already bringing in, what kind of difference that made. So it made a big difference for me. A lot of it I folded back into my business in the beginning, because that's always smart when you're a business owner. But I also pretty quickly started to pay down those credit cards. And I want to say that was an exciting thing to start cutting those things up. So let's say this person knows 3, and this person knows 3, and this person knows 3. Now, 60, these people are making their 60 plus, these people make their 450, and you're making about 750. That makes a difference. For some people who are paying daycare, they could maybe come home 1 or 2 days a week and spend that time with their kids, right? It could make a lot of difference. Buy a day or 2 back, right? Now, is it going to stop there? Or are these people pretty excited they're making 450? I say they're pretty excited they're making 450 and they see the potential. I'm not going to keep taking this all the way out, but basically when there are about 50 families down here, which for me happened within the first year, and that was before the internet, so it can happen faster now, you're going to be making an income of very close to, or could be beyond, $60,000 a year, plus a lovely free trip. 5 days, 4 nights. Sometimes it's Orlando, sometimes DC, sometimes it's Las Vegas, sometimes it's, what's another one? Where have we gone? Anyway, it's always a fabulous, all expense paid trip with gifts every day, and fabulous rewards from this very solid corporation. And it doesn't have to end there. What if this person, this friend in your life or family member says, I'm going to do 50? Then you're looking at a solid 6-figure income. And again, it's an asset. So the wonderful thing about this business is normally when a business gets really big, you're working more and more and more. As this one gets really big, you're working the same amount, which, you know, if you could see my garden, you can see is not bad. You know, I spend a lot of time out there. So that's basically, there's not much to this business. It's a 4-step deal, and you keep repeating that with a lot of assistance. So this is what I would like to recommend, is that whoever invited you to see this, you want to say, get me more information, do your due diligence, go out, and if there's a seminar near you, find out where it's going to be, go to the seminar. They're always lots of fun. It's not dry, take notes. I think last time we played disc golf and then they had our seminar. We've done zip lining in our seminar. So chances are where you are, wherever that might be, there's a fun event on a monthly basis. And they're also going to be webcasts from now on. So you could, you know, if you can't get to one, you can find out how to tune into one. So I just encourage you to check it out, because this has been a life changer for me and for many, many people. And it's so much fun and so rewarding to be the agent of change in someone else's life as well. So I think, unless I'm wrong, that's about it for tonight. And really, let your imagination go wild. What could change for you? Thank you.